Hey, we live. We back on the one MC. For
Woohoo!
um, to all the shipmates out there, even those who ain't never been on a ship. We back.
That's me.
Uh, that's you. Hey, we
I
gonna
was
give you
shipping with no
honorary.
ship.
Yeah. We gonna honorary give you the honorary shipmate for the day.
Thank
You feel
you.
me? So
Mhm.
I know CWTs, aka CTNs, formerly known as CTNs, don't really do ships. So you get a pass. You know, your
Yes.
job needed elsewhere. So we understand that. But welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
You have a really interesting story, as we spoke about earlier. And we put on the post, and I feel like this is something we really need to get out there because I'm sure other folks are probably going through very similar situations, coming from a path of a less traditional entry into the United States Navy. So glad to
Definitely.
have you on today.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I'm excited. I've been listening to some of your podcasts. You have great audience. The diversity across the board is amazing. They bring different types of stories, and it's not always Navy related. You be just there talking so much shit with each other and just shooting the shit, and it's amazing to see like, oh, people up there also be just normal people.
Yeah, old people are just normal people too. You know, we put our pants on.
I
You
didn't
know,
say
I
old.
love you
I
all the
said
time.
people up there, but yes.
Oh no! I know what you meant because
Yeah.
what we was just talking about before we came on. You know,
Hmm.
I mean, you pretty much just like, man, you old as crap. I was like, whoa, wait a minute,
It's seasoned.
whoa.
It's seasoned. I
Uh,
learned, y'all. I learned.
yeah,
Warren took me right away. It's called seasoned.
yeah, just season. It's
No.
all good because the bones ain't, they don't move like they used to.
But you also been to a ship, so I can only imagine how life has got you so seasoned.
Oh, it's okay. We can change that only imagine to a real thing. Get you a quick Durst up out there somewhere, support
Oh,
somebody.
whoa, Warren. Don't put anything out there in the universe that I'm not ready for, okay? No
Okay.
manifestation over here.
All right. Yeah. Nobody want to talk about that ship life. That's a whole different experience there.
I've been listening to some of the people that you have brought, and as usually Master Chiefs and Senior Chiefs, especially seagoing rate and aviation, they have done more sea tour in their 20-year career than they have done a shore command, maybe a
Mm.
couple years or so combined in their service, and it's mind blowing to compare to my rate, where all we don't even have a seashore rotation. And I'm grateful for it, but it's crazy.
Yeah. Big time. So I just wanted to make sure that you introduce yourself really quickly to the audience. We're gonna definitely get into your story, but give everybody your name, where you're from, and a little bit of your background before we
Oh,
get started.
awesome. My name is CWT2 Patel. I'm currently in Nyok, Georgia, 107 CMT. I have been in the Navy for 6.5 years. I will be almost 7 this August. I was a prior CB rate. I was a builder, cross-rated into CTN, and then they changed the rate while I was going through my A school in June. So I became a CWT. I have been in America for 9 years. I migrated to America with my family in October 2015. I was born and raised in India. I was 16 when I moved. So I had a little bit like had more brain developed, I guess, when I came here compared to when if I was a 80 years old or a toddler. So I brought a lot more cultural values and other perspective that I have learned because I only had 2 years of high school left here. I wasn't sure what to do with my life, and college kind of seemed intimidating when you don't know how to operate in a world where the college systems are the way they work. So I decided to join Navy, more likely Air Force, but they're never there. So I ended up in the Navy door. They're never there. I don't understand why.
Never. That's what everybody says because we always talk about everybody's recruitment and how they came in, and every time they like, man, the Air Force is never in the office, and that's
And
because everybody wants to go there first, so they pretty much got their pick of the litter, So
yes, and they're never there. And then it's like, oh, call this number and leave a voicemail. And I did, and nobody responds back. And then maybe people be like, oh, looks like you want to enlist. Come on, we will get you some stuff. We have benefits too. And
right,
oh, like it's like, let me go try this. It's better than Marines. Now I'm happy though. I'm here. But
yeah, exactly.
No, that's then I stationed in NMCB 11 for 5 years after finishing my A school as a builder, and from there I cross-rated to CTN, went to Pensacola for my A school, and then got stationed in Nyoke, Georgia, in Augusta, Georgia, on Fort Eisenhower in 107 CMT. It's hot out here. It's 110 degrees, and it's not amazing.
Yeah, you're in Georgia. You're in the South, so I know you ain't been in the states. You actually been in the states for a minute. I'm not sure
Yeah,
you
I
just
have been. I'm
visited.
almost 9 years, so it should be hitting 10 next year. So time be
Yeah,
flying by. Like I can't believe I came here when I was in high school in a junior, and now I'm a full grown woman, an adult.
yeah, you're gonna be about as seasoned as me. Keep on, so you'll be
Yes,
all right.
sir.
So let's talk about your childhood and your upbringing, right? Being born and raised in India. Talk to us about that. Growing up in India, as you were coming up through elementary
Oh,
and middle
the
school.
life is so different. It's so different. I could not fathom what America was because what I have learned was from my grandparents because they have been living in America for at least 10 to 15 years before they brought us to America because the process itself was really long. It took us at least I was 16. It took us 14 to 13 years to get here legally by paper by paper. So I was born in 1999. That's when my grandparents put the paperwork for me, my mom and dad, and the other kid and my sister who was born 3 years after me to come to America with the legal sponsorship. So it takes a long time. A lot of people don't realize. So I lost hope because I heard growing up, oh, one day we will go to America. And now I'm 16. I was like, it's never happening, you know? But I
Right.
will like, oh, New York looks cool. LA looks cool. It's just so Florida, Miami, all the things that I've seen, it's all on television. And what my grandparents will come by is like, oh, we have a store called Walmart. They have everything in there. And I was just in shock and awe of Walmart till the day I landed. And the first week I went to Walmart. Oh, this is Walmart?
Oh my.
Interesting.
Wait. So hold on. Let me be the. I'm pretty sure people have explained this to you, but it's Target or Walmart. Which one do you prefer, Target or Walmart?
Depends on the budget.
Oh, right.
Depends on
Because
the budget, but
okay.
I if I want something bougie and just feel like I'm in a place and nice, I will go to Target.
Oh,
But
there
I'm
we
like,
go. Yes,
but if
sir.
I'm
Yes,
like,
sir.
okay, I think the groceries are expensive. Let's calm down. We gotta go to Walmart.
Somebody has taught you well, so you already on the right track. You know the bouginess, Target, right?
Yes,
Everything else, Walmart. Got it. All right,
and
all
that's and because then you came to America, you realize how hard it is to earn dollars. Yes, we had. I would say we were really grateful because we had a family who was already established here. We didn't have to worry about where to live. We didn't have to worry about what food to get every day because we had our uncle and aunts. That's my mom's side, my mom's brothers and his wife and their parents. So we already have a household. So we came in here. It took us a couple times because we couldn't work. We needed social security. We need work permit. Then we needed to apply for a green card to establish our permanent residence. So that way, when we go out there to apply, they know like, oh, they are permanent residents of America, so they are eligible to apply. Getting a driver's license, the amount of stuff that you have to do here, in India, I mean, now the things are better, but back in the day it was not. I drove motorcycle at age of 12. I should not say that out loud at the
right.
internet, but it was normal. It's still
Right.
normal. People will be driving there to school with flip-flops, and it's just that's the norm over there because we are so many people. Not everybody can afford car. The standard of living is different. In America, you cannot go that long with $1,000, but in India, you can live like a pretty good king.
Yeah,
So that
absolutely.
was a major shock. And how things work is here. It's the culture. It's hard to understand. Like if you don't know what culture is, or if you come from a super culture family, or like everybody's together, everybody worries about what the society's gonna say, and then you come to America, people are really individualistic. They think about themselves and they operate on what I feel, and I want to be better in my specific way rather than I was like, I don't have to take care of other people. But then you also see that I have to learn over time. It's just depending on where you're in America, the culture shifts a huge. South is much different than North, and you go to the East Coast, West Coast. So it took me a long time to learn that. And I will say Navy has been my best learning lessons to learn about America and to speak English in a way that I speak now.
Yeah, so let's talk about that last part you just said, right? The culture being a little bit different. I know just from other sources of material, like movies, like you said, like television, and
Mm-hmm.
and other people who I've seen migrated over from other countries. The difference between our cultures is like a complete 180 in a lot of
Yes.
instances. One of those areas is the education piece, right? Uh, talk
Yes.
to talk to us about how different it is for your family and your culture when it comes to education, and how much, um, I guess you can say, attention is put on the education from the culture back in India to what you saw in the States from your last 2 years of high school.
Oh, I would say the high school education. I even went to a really good high school for my junior year, and then I moved to Pennsylvania, Scranton for my senior year. I felt school was super easy. Because we have higher, when it comes to our primary grade and elementary grade, we had higher standards of
Mm,
education. And I didn't realize, or not, either my parents didn't know, like every state would have it different. In
right.
India, education is based around there's three different levels of education. Whatever state you go, you can achieve depending on the money you have, and if your kid is smart enough to achieve whatever level of education you need to get. And in America, public schools are free. That was a huge shock for me. I was not sure like how does that work because we have always paid for school. In India, you have to pay unless you are really low income or poor or a different on the really bottom of the poverty line. Then you have government assistance school to go. But usually, people will pay some type of money, like maybe $100 or something like that. In Indian currency, will be more, but like equivalent to $100 to go to school because we would have uniforms and everything is like how private schools are here. That's normal school in India.
Mm,
Education was so much harder or the greater that America does it for sure, I feel. And as an Indian society, you see all the time. I don't know, not all Indians, but majority of the Indians, their parents want them to be doctors, engineers, or lawyers. It's like, if you're not one of those three, then what are you? So
So,
it's
so how does your parents feel about you joining the military, vice being a traditional like doctor or a lawyer or something like that?
Oh, they still say that once in a while. It's like, you should have become a doctor. I would save so much money that I wouldn't have to pay the healthcare. And I was like, that's not how it works, mom. You would have to pay for my loan. But no, my parents have been really grateful, and I have been really grateful of them. They are super open-minded for people who moved in their 40s, and they're super resilient. I was surprised when my dad and my mom were like, "Oh, go, Ria, it's fine." I think they were scared because they were like, "We just got to this country. You have no idea what military is. We don't even know what the military is because we never paid attention to American military."
Right.
Yeah, so they were scared, but I was like, worst come, I have heard from recruiters if I don't make it through boot camp, they will just send me back with the flight they paid. So it's okay. I will write you a letter when I'm coming back. And it just worked out. I went there and it was hard, but you were like the only way I can make it through is to get through this 8 weeks. So it's not longer.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody said, wait, we're not sending anybody back around these times. We
Oh,
heard
yes,
people.
sir. I went in 2017 and they were sending people back. They were like,
Oh
if you're
yeah.
not doing this right, yes. Or they will like ESMO you, so you have to like be there for extra amount of extra month or
Right.
so.
They still using that term asmo. They were still using that when I went through boot camp
Yeah,
23.
they still use it at 2017. Now I don't know. It's after COVID, things have
Yeah.
been so different. It's insane.
Yeah. Nobody wanted to get asmo. Oh, I remember. I
Oh, it's
don't even
like, oh,
remember what it
I'll take
said.
all the beat you can give me, but don't ESMO me, master. Please,
Nobody wants
please
to get
do
asmo.
not. That's the
No,
worst part.
no,
Uh,
absolutely not.
Yeah, no, the education is different. There, you get to pick your major when you are in your senior year of your school. Instead of
Right.
coming to America, you pick it in a college. You have extra colleges in America than you had in India. And that's the part because we're so many people in India, you have they want you to have a stable job. We still live in a survival mode. You know, it's
Mm,
like, okay, we came here because these three jobs are never gonna go away. Or they're gonna be there on the top level. You can make decent money to take care of your family and be successful in America. And that's why they want you to be doctor, lawyer, engineer, or some type of white collar job where you're gonna make decent money, because all the amount of time and money that we spend to come to here and not to be sure what you're doing kind of scares people off.
right.
They also feel like because they were not given education, my parents were not educated, they work in a warehouse, and they came to America. Now they had to learn English at age of 40, which 50, to be honest, it's more harder for them to learn
Mm,
and incorporate it with compared to a 16-year-old. So they're like, we gave you the opportunity, we never had that opportunity. So they want me to do better, they want my sister to do better, but they have been super supportive. It's like, we got you here, you've been living on your own, you have done that not anybody in our family has done it.
right.
So, and they are really proud of me. But other family members, they were concerned. It's like, you have you have the daughter. Your daughter looks beautiful. Make her go to college, and then you can get marry her off. She probably
Whoa.
good. Yeah, marriage is always on the market. So as soon as I hit 21, oh my god.
What?
Now
So
from my parents,
wait.
yeah, family members and relatives. Like, I go on Facebook, somebody will ask my mom, "How old is your daughter? She looking to get married?" I go to temple. I be on somebody's radar.
What? Wait. So hold on. I can't let that one slide. So you saying that your family is looking to basically marry you off?
Yeah,
You
arranged marriage. Yeah, that was definitely. I have. They're super progressive, I would say, in America for sure. They have seen people around us like, okay, kids will marry when they're ready, if they're feeling stable enough, or if they have a person that they want to love. We use a lot of love marriage terms, because people, if you marry outside of culture and arranged marriage, it's called love marriage, right? Because you love somebody and that's why you're marrying. So it's
yeah.
still hard. Like in my family, even on my mom and dad side, there has to be only like two cases that people have married for love. Every other marriage from all my uncles and cousins are all arranged marriage. Even my parents are arranged marriage, my grandparents are arranged marriage, my uncle and aunts, they are all arranged marriage. So we are the generation like, oh, we are changing the narration. Is like, because you did it doesn't mean we have to do it. And you cannot tell us what to do, because we think we're not ready to get married. And you have seen getting married early is not the right answer. It might have worked back in the day, but it doesn't work anymore.
Wow, that's interesting,
Yeah.
right?
So
Because I,
there's always that one auntie in anywhere you go in Indian community. It's like, how old is your daughter? I was like, she not marrying. That's the answer. I don't care how old she is. She's not marrying. She's not ready yet.
yeah, that's just not Indian. I tell you straight up.
Oh,
That's just
yes.
about every culture, right?
That
You
is
go
true.
home for a vacation and you still single, and your auntie or your cousin would be like, "You still single? You ain't found nobody to settle down with yet? Like, what's wrong with you? What did you do?" Like,
It's
hey,
hard.
yeah, that's crazy. That's
No,
crazy to
but
think about that. How everybody, that's the cultural differences are crazy
it
because,
is.
like I'll tell you, I don't know much about other cultures outside of American culture, right? Unless I see it in the movie, like you
Uh-huh.
said, on TV.
TV
So
is the biggest educator.
yeah, I watch movies like some of them that have like a Indian majority cast and about
Mm-hmm.
cultures of Middle Eastern countries and whatnot. And that's one of the things I see all the time. But until you actually, I'm listening to you tell how your family is expecting you to, education wise and relationship wise, do certain things. Like you said, basically your whole generation before you is all arranged marriages, right?
Yeah.
And then you guys call it love marriage because you
Yeah,
actually didn't get arranged to get married.
that's
Is
crazy,
crazy.
isn't it? Even though if you get love marriage and in India, like it still happens, we have become more modern, but it still happens. It happens more than you think. It's because it has worked over so many years. So they just think it will work, but then a lot of people are not happy in their marriage and they're just there because divorce is a big taboo also, right? And even with the society is going so forward, yes, their modern society loves, they're okay with getting divorced, but it still comes with so much negative stigma in our community and it's harder to combat it. And that's why they're like, arrange, if you would have done arranged marriage, you would have never got divorced. But yes,
Wow.
we wanted to get divorced. It's just the society puts so much pressure on the individuals to get divorced. Especially the society is harder on women. As an Indian woman, it is a lot more pressure. You're supposed to be a good daughter. You're supposed to be a good mother, a daughter-in-law. You're supposed to be a good wife. A lot of emphasis on feminine side, and you're supposed to do all this. But then you're like, oh, you're also educated. Then you should do all of this and this and this. But I was like, what about men? So they don't teach, and that's one thing I like about America. I was like, in America, you can fight for your rights. You can be individualistic, go follow your passion. If an opportunity is given to you, you have the choice to say no and yes.
Yeah, equal opportunity over
Equal
here.
opportunity. It's we all
Yeah.
struggle. I mean, we all have. America is not perfect by any means, you know,
Oh, absolutely not. Yes, trust
but
me.
you can make
I
it perfect in your own way for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm glad you said that because we like to in the U.S. we like to preach equal opportunity, but we all know that's still not always the
Yeah,
case, right?
equal
So
opportunity and equity are two different things, and that's I think we as a society we need to get on it, especially being people of color. I
right.
mean, the world right now is not the best place. Let's be honest. Everywhere there's a fire.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a whole different conversation. We'll
I
be
know.
up
Sir. Like,
hours
yeah, let
talking
me go,
about
come
that.
back to my Indian education. Yeah, so I think education over there it was harder at a younger age. So you have learned to be resilient. It's like, okay, I have to pass it, or else I'm gonna be disappointed in my family and stuff like that. Unfortunately, it is a dark side of it, but it's also the side is like it makes us different when we come here. Like, oh, we already have a leg up in one particular area is because of my education. I had some problems here coming to education. The school was not helpful to me. I was held back in a lot of places in my classes, which I did not know that you get to pick your own classes in America. I
Yeah,
mean, yes, you have your general education, but if you have finished them, you get to pick a higher level of education classes in high schools, and I did not know that. So the day I enrolled in school, they're like, "Oh, take this, and this." And I was like, "Oh, this sounds cool. I know this because in India, the state that I come from, Gujarat, you all have same classes. Doesn't matter how dumb or how smart you are in that subject, you all have to take the same classes."
right.
So, and we were like, oh, I have no choice. I have to study this and pass this so that way I can go to next class. In America, I was like, oh, I want to do pre-calc. I want to do this, and this. And they were like, oh, well, you are an ESL student. They put me in ESL because that was my first year in America. I could
Right.
speak English, but it was not fluent, of course, because I have never had a conversation for 8 hours a day in English because I never had to, but I
Right.
could understand English. I could speak English. I could do the grammar and everything. But because I was in a status of ESL, English second language, I was already denied from some of the classes because they're like, oh, we feel like your English is not at this level to give you this class. And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't think so. I need English for math class. The formulas are not going to change. They're gonna be the same. I mean, the person who invented in a one language.
Yeah, math
Geometry,
is math. Yeah,
geometry.
exactly.
So that was the biggest hard battle. And then over the time after, like my ESL teacher, she was amazing in Illinois, Huntley High School. She was like, okay, why don't you take the test again? And if you score high enough, and then we will try to get you to a better class, which was really great. I was able to take better classes in half of my junior year. But senior year, we moved again, and the
Mm,
other states have different definition. And the school that I moved to would have we had more ethnic people. We had a lot more migrants than my previous school.
mm-hmm,
So there, the standard was whole completely different. They had so many people in their ESL, and as soon as they saw somebody who was now born and raised in America and did not did all the grades in America, they would just automatically put you to ESL, and they would not even bother. And then I'm like, okay, it's fine. It's my last year. I will figure it out what to do. So I'm doing algebra, and I'm a senior, and I was like, this is I already done pre-calc. I think I should be taking calculus. Like that's how the chart goes. They're like, well, you looks like you're in ESL, so we can't give you that. And I was like, okay. I go to the class. I ace the test, and they're like, well, it looks like you're too high for this class. And I was like, I told you so. I told you I've done this before, and now you are worried that I'm doing so good in class because I didn't have to do homework because I was like acing the test, and the teacher was like, are you understanding everything I'm saying? And I was like, yes, it's this is how you solve it. Like, I don't understand what's so hard about this.
Well, the thing is, in the states, is a little different. Not everybody at the grade level that they're in is actually taking the classes to prepare for college. We have the alternative options for calculus and things of that
Yes.
nature. Because some people can't even get past like algebra one or the basic math, right?
Yeah. And now
So
let's
they're
see
put in
about
remediated classes. Yeah.
I agree because I would say the guidance counselor, and I might be naive because I didn't know what to ask these questions. I think I'm going to school like this is what I have supposed to be doing, but the whole high school itself is to prepare for your college. People know in their freshman year, this is the college that I want to go to. This is where I want to be. So I have to take my classes. I have to do all this. I was just going to school, and I thought the school was so easy, and not worrying about what I need to do next because I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go to apply to college, but college is a lot of stuff happening when you apply for college. Nobody tells you the financial stuff, what classes to take, how to pick a
Right.
major, how to save money. The amount of process that goes into going to college, and I feel bad for some of these kids because they're like, "Oh, I got accepted to this private Catholic university where I have to pay 60 grand a year for a major that you don't even know because you're gonna change it in 2 years."
Right.
And that's when I was like, I was upset because I did get accepted in Penn State. It was not that great. My SAT scores were pretty bad. I scored pretty low. So, but I still got accepted to the local Penn State. But then as soon as I saw the bill, I had to pay this much money per semester.
Yeah.
And that does not include my housing. And even though I was living close enough to drive, so I'm thinking about the car, I'm thinking about the gas, I'm thinking about the books, and all this stuff going through my head. And I was like, my sister, she's 3 years behind me. So I will be senior and she would be a freshman. So we had to start all this money together. And nobody sit down and explain you the loan and how federal grant works, the scholarships works, because everybody else around me has their parents paying for them, or like, oh, they've been in America for so long, there's like, oh, we already have college funds, you're supposed to start that when you were a kid, my parents are doing so great, I have scholarship because I applied for this. And I looked at it and it freaked me out, and I was like, then I saw a Navy and a Marine people at the school, they said free college. I ran so fast, like there was no
Oh my
tomorrow.
god.
The
Oh
first
my
one I
god.
met was Air Force, and they disappointed me because they were never there.
Oh no, no, you made the right choice. Yeah, those Air
Yeah,
Force
so
guys,
it worked
you
out. I'm
don't want no
happy
part.
I'm Navy.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad you are. But let's talk about your recruitment process, right? So
Yes.
you get through high school. They finally let you take calculus. You get through all of that stuff, right? You
Yeah.
determine, hey, like I'm not going to be able to have my parents support me and my sister as we're both going through college at the same time. So you see the free college, right? The
Yes.
recruiter walks up on you, or you finally get in contact with the recruiter, right? Talk to us about your recruitment
Oh, the
process.
process. Navy poached me pretty good, to be honest. I was like this next door for Air Force. All the recruitment officers are in the same building, so they be like they have Hawkeye. They be outside knowing somebody's knocking on Air Force door. They will come outside, take you. Oh, you want some coffee? You want some snacks? Come
Yeah,
by. And
yeah.
the recruitment process. So the first thing was like, oh, take the ASVAB. We would. I was like, and I told them straight up. I was like, I'm not an American citizen. From what I have learned and Googled it, you have to be an American citizen to be part of United States military, at least in 2017. So they said, "Oh, you're fine as long as you are a permanent resident. You are good to go." And I expressed like I would like to do something in computer engineering or something with computer management. And I go to the recruiter. He's like, "Oh, don't worry about any of that. First,
Mm.
take the ASVAB. We will see how you do." And I was like, "Okay." I did my ASVAB. I got back. I got 88. The recruiter is over the moon. He's like, "Oh my God, you are great. You will qualify for female submarine program. You will qualify for female nuclear program. Looks like your ASVAB scores are great. You qualify for all this stuff." And I'm just happy. I went back home and told my parents, I was like, "Oh, these are the jobs he's talking about. I looked it up. It just looks so cool. I will be doing this and this and this." Then I go next. Then it's maps. I go to maps. And I was also underweight, by the way. So my recruiter took me to McDonald's. so I could make sure like I do not wait underway or have to do a waiver when I
Oh
get
my
there.
god!
It was the funniest thing because I was vegetarian. I'm vegetarian still.
Right, right,
And
right, right.
what do you want me to eat here, sir? I'm gonna be only eating fries. And I'm the fries gonna give me 5 pounds in an overnight day. But that was the funny part of the entire match process. Is he took me to McDonald's. He's like, "Eat, Patel. You need to eat, so you don't have to do the waiver," which is fine. Then I go to Maps. Talk about sit in front of the big recruiter who picks your rate, and he's like, "Oh, tell me what do you want? What do you feel like looking for?" And I was like, "Oh, I want something with IT or computers that I would like to work with." And I scored high enough on the ASVAB, and I looked it up that I could qualify for all these job roles, and this seemed cool to me. And he's like, "Oh, let me put your stuff in there." And as he runs, and then he's like, "Well, it looks like you don't have that many options. It only 10 options shows up." And I was like, "Why is that?" And he's like, "Well, you are not an American citizen." And I was like, I told my recruiter I'm not an American citizen. So I'm sitting here looking at him clueless. And the big recruiter, the first class, was looking at the second class recruiter. He's like, "Did you not tell the person that they don't qualify for other stuff?" He's like, "Well, I thought she scored well enough on SBAP. She would be
Oh
fine."
my god!
And I'm
What?
sitting there, well, I'm just trying to not cry. The tears are rolling in. I was like, "Oh my God, they're just gonna send me to boot camp. I'm not gonna like my job. What I'm gonna do? I don't want to go on a submarine. I don't know what's gonna happen," because the only 10 rates I had were HMLS, a lot of CB rates, uh, and there was gas turbine mechanic and a CS. So some of the like ship rate that you don't require to have a clearance, basically. At
Right,
that point, I did not understand what clearance was. What are they talking about? Because they didn't sit down and explain to me that these are
right,
the reasons. And I was like, if that was the case, I could have come back in 2 years when I became a citizen. But
right,
at that point, I did not even know I could leave Maps and I don't have to say yes to any of the jobs. So I'm looking through the list, and something that sticked out to me was engineering aid, the people who do the survey of the land, like they do the concrete test and all that stuff. It was part of CBs, which I didn't even know what CBs was. But
right.
so I picked up that and I read, and they give you this big, thick book, right? Describing all the rates. I don't know, they did it back in the day when you went or when I went. So instead of looking on a computer, they will give you this thick book. He's like, "Oh, go to this page. It will tell you what the job is." So it's like basically a definition of the job and all the
Yeah.
classes that you will take to do the job. It sounded cool in the textbooks because it's just a definition. And I was like, "Oh, I will do this." And this recruiter is like, "Well, for this you need algebra too." And I was like, "I have algebra too because I'm taking pre-calculus and calculus classes." Mind you, my recruiter didn't bring my high school transcript. I gave
Oh my
it to
god!
him, and
Oh
he's
my
like,
god!
"I'll bring all these copies." And I was like, "Okay." In 2017, you could have digital copies. It wasn't even that hard. Tell
Right,
me why. He is like, "Well, we have to see the proof." And I was like, "I'm telling you that I have it. Why would I lie about this? It's not that hard. It's already on my copy of the transcript." It's like, "Well, we need to see your official transcript." So they have to call the school, get it faxed. Faxed. It took 2 hours to get it faxed. And I was
right,
like, all you had to do was ask them that I have done it, and you will see it in the official transcript. Why would they lie?
right.
By the time it got back, the rate was locked. Apparently, they met the quota or they gave some quota to the army or whatever happened in the 2 hours. I still don't know how that works. I don't think so. I would ever know till I be a recruiter if I ever had a chance to be. But
Mm.
it was locked up. And he's like, "Well, looks like you only got 9 rates to select from now." And I was like, I'm out there struggling, stressing, sweating through my armpits, trying
Oh
not
my.
to cry. I was like, how am I supposed to make this decision? And I have to sign my life for 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And then I was like, you know what? And then I freaked out because this rate's gonna go away. So I just picked builder because it just sounded cool. That was the closest thing to engineering aid because I was like, maybe I'll do some construction. It sounded cool on the paper. Then I go to boot camp and I have no, and everybody's like, "What's your rate?" I was like, "Oh, it's builder." And they're asking me, "What is that?" And I was like, "The fuck I know." I mean,
I'll
I'm
find
just
out
here
when I
like you
get
because
there.
none of my recruiters were also CB. They were OSs
Right.
and ABE. So they're like, "Oh, we don't even know, Patel, what you all do. To be honest, we just know they exist."
Yeah. exactly. Yeah, the
And it was
CB, a
the most
different community. Yeah,
funniest experience in the entire book, and everybody was talking about their job because they're like, oh, when recruiters have like the last 2 weeks, they're just chilling with y'all, like talking to you because
yeah, yeah.
finally made it through. And every time I'd be asking question and other CBs that we have in a department, there were like 4 or 5 other ones. We get no answers. They're like, yeah, you'll be just there somewhere on a fob shooting somebody. And I was like, wow, okay, that's my great answer. I'm not
That's
freaked out at
definitely
all.
that's definitely not the right answer, but yeah.
But if you make do, so it was one of these things. I think there was my brother there or sister division. They had a CE1, but we didn't talk to her that much because we were in our own division. We had a co-ed, but yeah, boot camp was. I still have some memories, but half of them is gone.
Nah, yeah. As soon as you leave boot camp, you data dump all that stuff. Nobody wants to relive boot camp
Yeah,
anyway.
the only
Yeah,
thing was the P days I remember, and the time I was like, oh, I was like, I got beat majority of the time because I had to ask a lot of questions because I did not understand what they were talking about. My recruiters for me had a heavy southern accent. Now I know they were southern accents, so I didn't understand things. So I had to ask my person next to me. He's like, "Oh, what are they talking about?" Because I really don't understand their instructions.
right.
And I had a heavier accent than I have it too. So I was like, okay, I'm trying to ask. And I think they were having issues understanding me too, but they would not say it. I was like, oh, slow it down, Patel. I'll repeat it slowly. So that's why I got a lot of noise, chit chat beat up because it's like, why you keep always talking, Patel? I was like, I don't understand what you're saying. But I didn't want to say that because then I know I would get beat more.
No, you gotta say something. If
But
you
yeah,
don't understand, you gotta say something. They shouldn't beat you just because you don't understand because English is not your first language.
and
Like
that was
a lot
hard
of
for me
people
to
use that for a
understand.
joke.
Yeah, that was one of those things like I had to learn in the Navy because I don't speak clearly as everybody, and everybody does not speaks clearly, but I don't understand. And to ask that, it's okay to ask because
Yeah.
it's hard because we already don't have that many immigrants in the military in general, unless you go to specific communities, they would allow you to be in that. So in the
You
CB,
know where you find a big immigrant population at? You know where?
LSS,
No, 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 no. What type of commands?
oh no,
Ships,
ships.
ships. On the ship.
That
If
is
you go
true.
to like a carrier or LHD, right? If you go on the mess decks on a carrier or amphib, big deck amphib, you'll see just about every nationality group that you can think of, right?
That's
Uh,
that's
you got
amazing.
you got your Middle Easterns, you got your Asian population, Asian Pacific population, uh,
Yeah,
Filipinos. They roll deep, right?
yeah,
Hispanic,
they Filipino mafia apparently.
right? Yeah, nah, nah. We don't say that out loud. That's an underground term. We can't say that out loud. But yeah,
Okay.
you said it, not me. So yep, those guys. Yep. So I mean, you'll find everybody because what happens is like I remember I was talking to one of the sailors on my last ship, and I was like, "Man, everybody in the Asian Pacific community rolls kind of deep. Like every time I see one, they all in the same group together, right?" And yeah, one dude was like, "As soon as we see their orders come in, we reach out to them and let
That,
them know that as soon as you get to the ship, you with us." Like, and that's how it basically went. Like anytime somebody would check in who was Asian Pacific or like Chinese or Japanese, like their whole group of people would just call them up and be like, "Hey, you with us?" And you
China's
get
brother
here.
and sister, like come on in. It's like
Yeah.
a fraternity that you already have
Oh yeah,
established.
yeah. And
That's a
that's
one.
because that's because they're minorities. Even though it's a big group of them, out of the 3,000 people on the ship, it's probably 20, 25 of them. So
Yes, I
they
agree.
all they all have the same cultural backgrounds and differences that they can relate to amongst each other. But don't get me wrong, they still work in their shops with other people and all that good stuff. But
Yeah,
when it's
no,
time for like liberty and chilling on the mess
they just
decks,
have a
they're
special
all together.
connection with each other, and they can understand on a level like you don't have to talk about it because it's like, oh, my mom has the same thing. We
Right.
grew up doing the same thing. This is what we eat. The festivals are same, so you have same mindset because you come from the same background, and that's hard for a lot of people to understand because sometimes they feel like I'm not included in this. It's not like you
Yeah,
are not. It's just we have different groups. Every time, even like when we go to a class, the class that you are studying with has a bond that the people who are not in a class,
yeah,
and it doesn't mean you're excluded. You're just in a different bonding experience with with the sailors that you are with, and it's nothing wrong with it. It's just embrace it and learn to understand what they're coming from, because you might learn something from their experience and they might learn something from yours.
yeah. Have you met anybody from where you're from?
That
Anybody from India?
surprisingly, just one in my entire 6.5 years, because my last name is pretty common. So apparently, there's a lot more officers Patels that people have referred me to, and they always ask like, "Is your brother or your cousin or your dad in the military?" Because they're either O6 or officers or something like that. But no, I have not met that many Indian people in the military. I met one in NMCB 11. His last name um, um was saying he's a good friend of mine, and that was the only Indian person. And I was so excited to see another Indian person.
Right, right,
First time he checked in, I was like over the moon. I was like, "Do you speak Hindi?" He's like, "Oh, what you doing? How is life?" I'm just getting all the background detail
right.
for this guy. Like he has no. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just excited to see and then any other Indian people on this entire base, because CB base was a decently big size.
Yeah,
We have a couple active duty battalions, then we have other stuff, but to just see somebody else who is same background that I was really hard, because and it's still a stereo for us. To get in a military is hard. Even in my Indian community, then when I walk by and I tell them that I'm in the military, they seem so shocked. It's like, oh my God, that's amazing. And how did you do that? How was that? You must be super strong to do this. And I was like, no, I'm not super strong. I just thought this would be something new for me to try, and it was worth a shot, and it worked out for me. So
yeah,
that's the barrier that I would like for our people to break. Like joining a military is not a bad thing. It's not you're not going to have a bad career out of it, or it's not a job underneath that will make you feel some type of way, because a lot of our parents want our kids to just stay with them. That's a big deal. That's a big one.
yeah,
They
yeah,
don't want to send them away, or they're like, oh, something is going to happen. I mean, something can happen anytime. Sometimes you don't know. Life is life. You'll be driving, knock on wood, something could happen.
right.
But the military should not be looked in a bad way. It's not college, yes, but it comes with its own sets of experiences that a lot of people will miss out on. You get to see the world, you get to meet people, you get to learn cultures, you get to learn about every culture that you have never even thought they have so much similarities. I never knew how much African immigrants, especially Nigerian and Sierra Leone immigrants, have same stuff like I do. And
Right.
I was like, I would have never thought that. I would have never thought like, oh, Filipinos have the same background thinking that I do, and how similar we are in our culture and the way we think about family and how or family oriented we are. I would have never learned about cookouts. Okay, that's the best.
Oh,
Shout out to cookouts. I'm vegetarian, but you give me a bowl of mac and cheese, I'm happy.
you must have
I
been. Oh my God, I knew who you was hanging out for that. So the
Oh
cookout
yes,
was very
deployment.
important.
They made the We had the best time on deployments. Look,
Yeah,
even in here, all the friends that I made, it's amazing. And I would tell everybody who can do it. And military is a step up. I think it's a stepping stone, whether you make it a career out of it or not. Eventually you're gonna have to retire.
yeah.
This job is gonna
You,
end one way or the other.
hey, you're gonna be an ambassador. Somebody's gonna take you to the Navy, my Navy HR page, and have you do a recruitment video pretty soon. Keep talking
Oh,
like
let's go. I'll bring all the Indians in here because we are
that.
smart people. I think we should think about this, maybe, and it's not for everybody. I'll say that, military is not for everybody. And you have seen
Mm,
that across the years. You probably had so many junior sailors who have come and go, but
yeah,
it's a set of an experience that they will remember for the rest of their life. Would it be bad? Some of them are bad and some of them are good. So, but it's up to the individuals how they take it. I have been blessed in my naval career to not have a really shitty experience, but whatever had happened for a reason, and here I am talking to you,
yeah,
sir, on a podcast. Who would have thought that?
yeah, yeah. So let's talk about your maybe not so. good experience as you were going through the cross rating experience and trying to become a U.S. citizen. Talk to us about your experience as you were trying to cross rate, because initially you said, "Hey, I did want to do something with computers," and I ended up being a builder, right?
Yes.
But eventually you attempted to cross rate, but you got held up for a while because of some clearance stuff. Talk to us about that.
Oh, yeah. So when I joined the boot camp, right? So at that time, they said you could become a citizen. So I was in the boot camp process throughout that year, thinking like, oh, I will become a citizen as soon as I get out. I graduate from boot camp. But I
Hmm.
think between somewhere that at that time, President Donald Trump put up executive order that you have to be in the military for 180 days, active duties, to become a citizen. So
Hmm.
I thought I have a chance to become a citizen, and my I changed my rate in the Navy when I'm in the boot camp, but that didn't happen. So I had to wait 180 days and then apply for naturalization to become a naturalized American citizen. So it took me like a year and a half. So by 2018, I was an American citizen. I went to New Orleans, Louisiana, and took my oath and everything. It was really amazing. I went in my dress white, felt so proud and all. I was like, oh my God, look at me, and I'm an American now.
Hmm.
Yeah, and my friends were super supportive. They were all excited for me. They brought the American flags and everything. After that, I was like, okay, now I don't have the barrier because I can apply for the jobs that I really wanted, because
Right.
this was my barrier for the entire time, because they were like, well, you are not an American citizen. I was like, okay, I will wait it out. So I put in my first cross-rating package to IT, and then I got denied because they were like, well, you are American citizen, but your parents are not.
Mm.
So I was like, there's nothing I can do on that situation because they have not been in 5 years. And in the military, you cannot sponsor your parents to become a naturalized faster than anticipated time. I don't think so. You can do that with your spouses now, but it might have changed, since 2018. So I was like, okay, I will wait. At that point, we were around 3.5 years in, yeah, 3.5 years in America. So I had to wait 2 more years for my parents to become citizen and work that out. At that point, my contract was almost coming to an end. So I was like, you know what? It's not working out. Maybe let me try cross rating to an LN or something that I can control and get something out of it, because being a builder was great and all, but it was not something that I wanted.
Right.
So in the NMCB 11 in itself, I always found a job that I think I would get personal gain out of it and I can help the command. So I started doing the IT work there, maybe just to get some experience. I was like, if nothing works out, I have something that I could write on my stuff when I do get out. So I waited for my parents to become citizen. They passed their test in one go and they became a citizen. As soon as they became a citizen, next week I submitted my package for IT and CTN.
Great
I did
stuff.
not even care. I put so many application. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure somebody in Bupers was so mad at me. Why is she standing so many emails? But I did not care. My CEO was like, Patel, are you okay? And I was like, yes, sir. I'm sorry, but I just want to get out of this rate.
Yeah.
My CMC, shout out to Master Johnson. He is really amazing, and I could have not asked for a better Master Chief than him. But then I applied for CTN. I got rejected. This
Mm.
time their excuse is, well, you are citizen, your parents are citizen, but it doesn't seem like you will be qualified for top secret. But you have to be qualified for top secret because you have they didn't even give me a reason for the first email, by the way. So I was like, okay, this is half. Why are you not giving me a reason? Because before that,
Right.
this was the only holdup. Now you are creating more holdups for reasons you can't explain. So I called the ECM at that time, and then they said, it's like, well, it looks like the country that you are from falls under some ICD 704 matrix, that where we have to uh, you either can't, it's not accepted, it's there's no exception for the country. And I was like, well,
Mm.
why does it matter? Because I'm an American. I'm
Right.
a naturalized American, so I should not be going off the metrics anyway. And they're like, well, but you were foreign born and all, and that. I was like, yes, but what does that have to do? How can you determine that without an investigation?
Right.
Because you cannot tell me I don't qualify for it. On what basis? Because you are not an investigator. You have not even asked me, any background question. You have not checked my financial statements. And I didn't know all of this, but I knew that from a lot of my senior chiefs or people who have TSSCI. They were like, Patel, this is not how the process works. You are
Yeah.
supposed to do a paperwork, SF72, I think, or some standard forms. And it's a huge paperwork with a lot of details. And then they determine if you're qualified or not. So they wouldn't even let me do the pre-screening. So now, and then Senior Harmon came in the picture. Shout out to her. Now she's
Uh,
Miss Harmon. She's retired. She's living her
uh,
best life. But she came and she was only there for a year and a half to 2 years, maybe max. And I was like, I'm like, Senior, this and this is happening. Help me. I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. If this is not it, I'm gonna get out, and I don't want to get out because I would like to stay in because I enjoy it and this is an experience that I want to gain. So she explained me how this process works. So we trying to find this matrix. I swear to God, I could not find the matrix. Nobody could find the matrix. I don't know where this is. I even go talk to my IS because I feel like they would know some things. They're like, yeah, these things exist, but they change all the time. And I was like, well, the State Department even thinks India is not severely extremist, so I think we should be good. But
yeah.
then they keep saying no for pre-screening over and over and over, and now their excuse was like, oh, your parents are dual citizenship. And I was like, no, they are an American citizen because India does not have dual citizenship. All you could do is Google it and you will find the answer. If you have the matrix, you should have the rule of the countries, right? Like that would make sense.
Well, so the biggest adversary we have right now is who? Who's our biggest adversary?
China.
Right, right, right. So
China
I asked
and
that question. I asked that question for a reason. I specifically, personally know Chinese nationalists with top secret clearances.
yes,
So that makes
that's
no sense.
exactly what my any of the IC community people told me, right? Because I reached when I say I was on Facebook, every group, female enlisted, male, ask the chiefs, E5 and below group, all the groups that I could find on Facebook, there was a picture, a post about me. How there has to be a waiver. I read the executive order upside down 10 times. I have that thing highlighted through and through, and I even took it to the legal office. I was like, am I reading this wrong? Am I interpreting this wrong? Because it does not say anything that you cannot make a determine based on what you think. You have to run an investigation if the person
Right,
is compliant to know if they're eligible for TSSCI.
right,
So they were like, no, Patel, you are not wrong. And Senior made a phone calls and to find out, it's like, why is the holdup? She couldn't find it either. The last resort. And then I was so hopeful, like, oh, Senior will make it work. It did not. And as soon as I got one more email rejecting me again, I break down. I cried so much. I was not crying on her shoulder. I think her blouse had things on there that she was not expecting. And she was like, why are you crying hysterically? And I was like, Senior, they denied me again. I don't know what to do. I did everything right. I sent them the paperwork. I explained them everything. I'm not even hiding anything. I'm not even lying.
right,
So why are you not giving me the chance to prove me wrong? Like, give me a reason that I'm not qualified. And then my master chief calls me in the office, like, Patel, I heard you've been crying because my office was right next door to him. He's like, what is all that noise going around? So he pokes his door. I am crying. Senior takes me to his office. We sit down. He's like, I am still trying to talk because I am crying so hard I can't breathe.
yeah,
So Master Chief is like, Patel, we will figure this out. We will figure this out. I will send in emails and we will find out why they're not giving you the reasons. And the senior was like, Patel, you know you have other option. You can always, even though you decide to get out, nothing wrong with it. You can put IG complaint. You can put an EO complaint to find out why are you not getting the answers.
right,
And then, so when it came to dual citizenship, so I sent them the last email explaining if this is your reasoning, my parents are not dual citizens. They are American citizen who have an OCS. In India, if you are an non-resident Indian who is a citizen of other countries, you can get an overseas visa. So that
right,
way you don't have to apply for visa visiting every time your country because I have some my dad's mother lived there. So just in case if something happens, he has to fly occasionally So that's what it is. So I print the Indian Constitution. I highlighted that. I printed the United States State Department explaining what dual citizenship is. Dual citizenship is when both countries accept you as their legal citizen, where you have right to vote and have the same rights as every other citizen. So I explained them this is what Constitution of United States of America defines a dual citizenship. And then after that, finally the lady replied to me saying, "Oh, these are the 10 pre-screening questions. Please feel free to fill this out and then I can send your package in." So just to get pre-screening. And I was like, "So this is not even me applying yet because you still want to pre-screen me.
Right. Yeah.
You could have done this 10 steps ago, 7 months ago."
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
then
sad.
I fill this
Yeah.
paperwork out. She still keeps asking me the same question. And I was like, "Ma'am, I would appreciate if you go look it up. You've been in this job. I'm not saying you don't know how to do this job, but maybe you are missing something. I don't know. I'm not lying. I'm not hiding that my parents are dual citizens. I gave you my bank statement. I gave you everything that I have.
Yeah.
So what is the holdup?" And then they finally is like, "Oh, Patel, you qualified. Everything is smooth. This is your orders will be coming in." So I was like, what changed? Because I put in my what is called the CVA quota for CVA quota away for my BU. I was separating in June or July of 2022. I get an email saying, "Oh, you are qualified for CTN rate. Your pre-screening went through, so fill out SF72." And that
Hmm.
point, I was mad to be honest because now I am ready. I accept that I'm getting out, and now you're doing this to me.
No, that sounds about right. And keep in mind, Manning and recruitment was really getting real bad
Oh, yes.
around that time. So they were like, "Wait a minute, we're gonna let this outstanding 88 ASVAB score get out. Wait a minute, hold on a minute now." Yeah. So
So I don't know, maybe the lady worked it out, or the person who was in the office finally figured it out, or maybe Master Chief, whoever made a phone call. I don't know, whatever in the universe worked out. Thank you so much for that. But it
yeah.
worked out. And but I was pissed. I was gonna say no because I was so mad. And like I had the young fierce thing is like, "I don't want you, F you, you didn't do this for me,
Yeah,
whatever."
yeah, yeah.
And
Too
all
late. I don't even want it no more. You
I
can
don't
keep
even want to know. But senior
it.
looked at me. He's like, "Patel." She said
Stop.
no.
Yeah, yeah, stop
She
it.
gave me a conversation. My
Yeah.
homegirl gave me a conversation. Master Chief gave me a conversation. Congratulations, Patel. All the work you did paid off. And I was like, it would be shame after putting all this work. I should do it just because I can do it. And I always knew I could do it. It's just they wouldn't let me do it. So
Yeah.
out of spite, I took it. But it has been a great event so
Oh
far.
my God. Yeah.
It was
That
just, it should
that's
not be this hard. The only
no,
thing
you're
that I learned,
right.
it should not be this hard. I think there needs to be a measure. I understand when it comes to national security, you have to be prepared for it. Nothing wrong with that. It's
Yeah.
just give people chance. If they want to do something and they you have to do the paperwork and they're not hiding, they're not saying no, try it. You gonna don't act like we don't have people who lose clearance on daily basis. We do. A lot of people. You spend so much money on Americans who are born in America, they still end up losing clearance. So it's
Yeah.
not about the money because sometimes they make it like, oh, it's so much about the money. Maybe give it a chance. Maybe the person who wants it, it's worth it.
No, it sounds like somebody just wasn't doing their job. Right? They didn't do their due
Yeah, a lot
diligence.
of people said that to me, and at that point,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
frustrated, and it was one of those things. It's like hard times, and then I was like, okay, I will do it. And then December, I went to JCAC 2023, graduated from
Big
there.
cat.
It
Yes,
was,
sir. Pensacola.
I
Yeah.
know Pensacola was
Yeah.
awesome. I'm glad I went as a fleet attorney, though.
Oh
I
yeah, big time. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
That
I
was
saw
me and
all those
me and Chico was
IPs,
talking about
CTRs, Ms, Ts walking on that airfield strip because it's such a
the
small
grinder. That's what they call it, the grinder.
grinder. It's such
Yeah,
a small compared to NAS. Then you have this NAS Pensacola for the IWTC command. It's just so small. I'm like,
yeah,
this. We need some construction in here.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
if you were still a CB, maybe you could have helped him out, but yeah, you gave that up. So
I mean, I'm like, you got people right down the road. They're 2 hours. You got 3 battalions. I'm pretty sure they would love to do this.
yeah, yeah, out there in Gulfport,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah,
Definitely,
yeah,
but you know how the Navy policies and stuff are when it comes to using your own people to build something. So
Yeah, I got you. Hey, Patel, that was a very, very enlightening story. I don't think I've ever seen somebody have to go through the amount of adversity you had to go through just to stay in.
That's what I'm saying.
Becoming a
Thank you.
citizen, cross rating. I'm just like, whoa, that was a lot. Because I remember the first time when you told me this story when we talked on the phone, and I was like, I would have been like, I'm done with y'all. There's
I'm
no
done.
way I can go through. I
Every
can't.
time, sir, every time I got an email, I was like, I don't want this anymore. I got 2 more years. I can do taps, skill bridge, and get out of here. But
Right,
then
right,
every time I got a no, and I was like, why are they saying me no? Because they should not say no to me. Because they're gonna say no to me, they're gonna say no to other people's gonna go behind me. And that's the part bothered me. Because it's like if they can say yes to me and I'm doing everything right, I can
hmm
only imagine for the people who want to do something right, but they don't know. And all of this was all miscommunication. And it's so hard to find directives and policies and stuff like that. I do believe sometimes maybe I'm didn't had any chance to meet somebody who is well versed when it comes to the people who are not born and raised in America, the people who are not American citizen by birth. They should have a department, maybe they should have a lawyer, maybe they should have somebody who just knows the process for people who are naturalized to help them. Because it's hard for me to ask a person who has never had to go through this. Because
right,
how are they going to, yes, they're going to find all the resources at their end, but they can't relate. And even they're stuck because, oh, I had never had to think about this, you know?
hmm
So I would appreciate, I would really think that would be one thing that Navy should have resources in it with the amount of immigrants that have been increased in our military.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're going to be a major advocate for that
No,
because
I would
you telling
definitely
the
would
story.
fight
Yeah.
for it for sure. I never thought about it till right now, having this conversation, but
Right.
having that resources would have helped me more to make this process smoother. I was glad with my naturalization. I had this reserve lawyer, '05 commander. He was great to help me with the paperwork. But then I know so many sailors who don't know how to do the paperwork. They have no idea where to start the naturalization paperwork because a regular person does not know. And why should they know? Because it's never been, they never had to do it.
Right.
Yeah, you go to the normal legal office, but not every legal office has an immigrant lawyer.
Right. Not every command is going to have the
Yes.
opportunity, have personnel with the experience to help them out
And I
and
cannot
do that.
expect every Ellen to know all this because there's
No.
so much they have to already do, and
Yeah.
they're not there. Sometimes they're there for sailors, sometimes they're just there for the triad. So they have to, as a
Mm.
sailor, you have to also understand it's like this is not the right resources, but they have to do the same amount of research. Then you're like, okay, but I trust my research, but I would like somebody who's qualified to give me a suggestion to guide me if this I'm right. Because a lot of times a wrong paperwork can change a lot of things, god forbid if something is wrong on your paper and your stuff is stuck now for months, and we
Yeah.
know how bureaucracy works. It
Yeah.
takes a long time to get something that is wrong come back and get it fixed, and now we are wasting time away for the sailor who needs to be a naturalized because they can do a better job and not have to worry about other things.
Yeah. I feel like your educational background and your upbringing were very key in you doing the research and having the initiative to follow up constantly again and again and hold people accountable,
Yes.
which is the biggest thing because when people get these random emails from, petty officer so and so, it's really easy for them to blow you off until you get senior people involved, because a lot of people will suffer in silence and just shrug their shoulders and be like, well, I tried. But a testament to you for not giving up, and seeing it through because, like you said, there are going to be several other people you're going to come across who's going to hear this story. And they're going to reach out to you. I'm pretty sure people are going to reach out to you, and you're
Yes.
going to end up being a major advocate for all naturalized citizens and people wanting to cross rate and ensure that they can get their family over to be a U.S. citizen and all the things we talked about today as well. So,
No, definitely, sir. Thanks to the people I surrounded with. I think a lot of my leadership was really helpful. Friends, the support that you get just makes you want to go further more than you would, because you're like, I'm not doing this for me now. I have people who have my back. They know I'm not doing this wrong. Because sometimes you also become like, maybe I'm just doing everything wrong. Now you question yourself. Maybe it's you that's wrong, not the world, because why would they keep saying no and no and over time? So you need that assurance from your leadership or your mentors or your friends. Is like, no, you're not spiraling. You are not crazy. You are doing the right thing. It's
Yeah.
just we are not doing the right job.
Yeah, you got some people in the chat. I'm reading the chat. I don't know if these are family members or friends, but they said you need to go be a lawyer.
Oh, I have got that a lot, but that's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot. Now I got GI Bill, so I can do it.
Yeah, yeah. They want you to go cross rate one more time to legal men, so you can
Oh,
start being a
yes.
lawyer for all the naturalized citizens now.
No, I definitely help me out. I know the process has been outdated because they changed. That process, immigration changes a lot more than we think. Every time, and
Yeah,
I do
yeah,
wish we would have better immigration for military, especially military folks, because I
yeah.
think we do enough work to deserve or to earn our naturalization. That we should be able to sponsor our spouses, we should be able to sponsor our family members who are overseas that we haven't seen, because we are doing our job and we are giving it to America. So I one day, hopefully, with the president changing, and maybe somebody will give that to us, but I think we deserve that for sure.
100% agree with you. So we've talked a lot about your
Dang, it's
experience,
already hours.
about you coming over. Yeah, it's been an hour. You were scared. I'm not gonna have enough to talk
Yes.
about.
Oh my God. So this morning I've been freaking out. I'm like, I broke my omelet because I was so nervous about like what I'm gonna answer to this question if he asked me, and I put salt twice in my omelet, and it was just horrible.
That's all right. That's why I sent you the list of things we were going to talk about. I didn't want you to be surprised, and I want you to, I'm very conscious about people and their culture. I did a lot of research on India, looking up anything that you might have brought up, so I can still talk about it in case we went that direction. Because I'm really conscious about ensuring that I
Yeah.
respect people's cultures and their backgrounds and stuff. So.
No, definitely.
Yeah, it's been a great hour. But I want to wrap it up with you, and we're gonna go over the final five questions. Right? We
Oh,
do a segment at the end. Right?
yes.
Final five questions.
I'm
I
ready.
shot these
What do
questions
I win?
over. What do you win? You win another round to come back on the One MC podcast once you make first
Perfect. Sounds like
class.
a plan. Well, now I come to Japan. How long you in Japan for, sir?
At least a couple years. So I've
Okay,
been here a
so I
year
can
already.
to Japan.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
base are you on, if you don't mind
I'm
me
on. Yeah, yeah. I'm on Kadena Air Base. Right. I'm on the
asking?
Air Force
I
base.
have a
Yeah.
couple of sailors from here getting stationed on the Marine Squadron or somewhere, but I'll definitely give them your contact info. I
Oh
think they
yeah.
love to meet you.
Oh yeah, have them hit me up, and I'll make sure they're squared away. Um,
Yes, sir.
yeah, but are you ready? Final five questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, all right. So, what was the best thing about joining the military for you?
Oh, people by far,
Oh,
the
the
amazing
people.
friends and family that I have made.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So, what's the worst thing that you've experienced since joining the military?
It's people, but
People too.
people too. Like
Yeah.
just there's one person who just makes and breaks you.
Oh yeah, just
It
irks
just
your
it
nerves.
takes you
Yeah.
in the wrong way. It's like, man, how hard it is. It's not that hard.
Yeah, yeah. For me, that one person was Senior Chief Harmon. She used to get on my nerves, man. Oh my
No,
God, she used to
Senior
get
Chief
on my.
is the best, one of the best people that have met in the. But no, people do. I think it's just, I would say the lack of experience and gratitude. If the people don't have it, that makes it harder for them to understand.
Okay. Well, so what was your favorite naval experience so far? Favorite thing that you've experienced in the Navy so far?
My deployments, Spain Rota deployments, with their
Mm.
FCPOA was my best in 2022. COVID deployments, it was pretty sucky.
Oh, it was trash.
First
Oh,
class
so
class
bad.
made it so freaking great for us, and we had the best time of our life.
And that's when you found out about the cookout, correct?
Yes, that's what I found about the cookout. Yeah, that's true. Thanks for
Yeah,
reminding me. No, that was the
yeah,
best.
yeah,
We'd be out there till 3 in the morning and not be worried about. But just life was great. It's fine. The world is burning outside. Who cares? We having fun here.
yeah. Yeah, in the back of the Road of Spain base, just
Yes,
grilling.
barracks. Yeah, we got that
Yeah.
one.
The barracks. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. I was in the Chiefs barracks, so I was, I used to hang out with the Chiefs on our little patio out there. So I
Oh
remember.
yeah, you guys got nice string lights and stuff. You
Yeah,
got
yeah,
the
yeah,
fire
yeah.
pit and all.
Oh yeah, it was really nice out there.
No, Big
Uh,
San is
what
pretty good.
what was the biggest difference between living in India and then living in the States? What's the biggest difference?
The culture shock, and I would say the interaction of people. How people are more individualistic mindset compared to a society or a group oriented was the biggest culture shock for me. And
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
difference is I thought I put America on pedestal, and it does have some place in pedestal, but the stuff that you go on as a regular normal American people, the things you have to see, the politics and all that, that was a big culture shock. I would say nobody told me about the things that I would have to experience, racism, diversity problems, struggling to things on discriminations, all those stuff. That was a big shock for me, like the diaspora of the amount of people America has, and yet we have some of the basic civil problems.
Right. That's crazy. That's a whole nother episode in
Yes.
itself.
Oh, sorry. Don't even get me started. And
Yeah.
I have not even been in America for that long to know. I
I
can only
know,
imagine.
I know. I can only imagine like what you've been through, being from India. So I can definitely relate to some of those things you just said. All right, all right. Final question, right? So you probably got a really strong answer or opinion about this one, but if you were CNO for the day, right? What's a
Yeah.
policy you would change or implement as the CNO?
I, we already talked about, like, I think I would also help a lot more people make Navy. It's hard to change everything in the Navy, but I would say for sailors, if they want to do something, I think as a leadership or people around them, we should help them achieve what they want. I think if the people are happier, then the better the Navy will be great. People run the Navy. Yes, we have machines and stuff, I think, but people make the best of it. And I would, but for my male brothers and the brothers, I will do is get them beard. I think they deserve it.
Oh, let's go.
Okay, I will. That will
Let's
be my first
go.
policy. I will get you guys beard because I think you all have earned it and deserve it. Okay, if every
Yes.
other branch can, every other military can do it, I think we can do it too.
Need that. I
Yeah,
need
we
that.
have hair, we have nice earrings, we got nails, we got
Yeah.
better. For women, we have a lot of things. I think for a male, we can at least get them a beard.
See, Patel, I
Yeah.
don't care what Senior Chief Harmon said about you. You all right with me. You
No, I
all
got you. I thought about it. It's like, you know what? I think every time somebody asks a MacPon, why can we not have a beard? It's hard. I see the sadness in the face of the guys. It's like, man. So the new
yeah.
regulation when it came for grooming standards, and we could have long eyelashes and a tiara.
Yeah. Like eyelashes. Come on, bro.
And
Like
I was like, poor
I'm
guys
just like,
have
girl,
everything.
eyelashes, fingernails, ponytails. I can't get a goddamn beard.
Beard.
God,
Or no. Oh my god. It's so funny is every time
crazy.
all you have to say to a guy who's in the military, a beard, and it will get them riled up so bad. And it's hilarious.
Yeah, I remember that eyelash policy came out. I'm like, this is what we spending time on. So
Yeah.
nobody can answer Patel's email about getting her clearance squared away, but we can talk about policy for long eyelashes. Give me a
Yes.
break. Anyway,
Yeah. I
all right,
after that,
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
implement something for people who would like to stay in the Navy as a crossroad, and if they have a hurdle on naturalization or family problems, because we don't decide where we were born. Let's be honest. Nobody knows. It's just
No, yeah,
if you're coming from a background where you are good to national security, I think you should deserve a chance.
yeah. Just listening to you talk for the last hour. Hopefully, your sister is gonna follow in your footsteps and want to come join the world's greatest navy too.
Oh yeah, she's like, I'm not military. She's staying away, and I was like,
She's
okay.
staying
She's in
away. No,
college.
no,
She's a biomedical engineer, graduating next year. So
no. We need her. She can come in through the ROTC or
yes, I told her
officer
to
pro.
join Air Force, y'all.
No, no, hell no, no Air Force. She needs to go Navy. She needs to go
Uh,
Navy.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But hey, I appreciate your time, Patel. Hey, this
No,
has been
thank you,
great.
sir. It was really great.
I know for a fact that once we clip this up and get some of your very strong opinions and get your story out there that some people are going to definitely relate and reach out to you. So be prepared to give your
Oh,
testimony.
definitely. Please feel free to reach out. I might not have all the answers, but I will get you the stuff that I know. And I will put you with the people that have helped me, will help you because people are the best part of the Navy. I will say that again and again. Yes, we all have shitty experience with people, but once you find that one person that makes you there to went to give you directions, to mentor you, your naval career becomes much easier. And I
Big
don't know if I'll do 20 or not, sir, but the people that have got me here so far, I think if it's meant to be, it will happen.
No, big facts.
Yes.
Yeah. So, hey, so that's a wrap, Patel. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Keep doing your thing as a CWT, aka CTN, and many blessings to you in your career moving forward. All right.
No problem, sir. If you ever come to Georgia, let me know.
GA. Yeah, GA.
Where
Stand
are
up.
you from, sir? I forgot to ask that question.
I'm from Florida, so I'm right
Oh,
there. I'm right there where y'all at, because it's hot as hell in
I know.
Florida too right now. So I
Yeah,
can
yesterday my
know
AC
your
stopped
pain.
working. I felt
What?
yes. Yeah, the AC apparently had a water backed up and I couldn't open the thing because I live in an apartment.
Oh
It
yeah,
was hot, sir. It was in 85, 90 degrees and it was humid.
yeah, yeah. Well,
America has
you
spoiled me.
you being from India, I'm sure you had a
That's what
small taste
I'm
of that
saying.
before.
America has spoiled me. That's what like the things that
Spoiled you.
granted for now it's insane. Okay. I am in AC everywhere, cars everywhere. I got it's just insane. The things that I would
Yeah,
never thought I would have to worry about it, you know?
yeah. You're spoiled. We spoiled you over here. Now you
I
need AC
definitely
everywhere you go. Yeah. Hey, but I appreciate your time.
thank you,
We're
sir.
gonna go ahead and sign off. But if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out to me. I'll pick up where Senior Chief Retire has left off at, since she left you to fend for yourself,
Yes.
afraid and alone out here. Senior
No,
Chief
thank you
Harmon.
so much for giving me this opportunity. This was really
Yeah,
amazing. Shout out to Senior Harmon. Yeah, I think without her it wouldn't be possible. I would have never known about this, but thanks for giving me the platform, sir. And I hope more I can help people out there.
no doubt. Thank you. And for
Thank
the
you,
one
sir. Have a
FC, yeah.
wonderful good night. Oh, it's night in Japan, right?
Oh yeah, it's night. It's almost midnight. It's
Oh,
eleven
time
forty
for you
seven.
to go to sleep.
Yeah, yeah. I need my old man rest. You know what I'm saying?
Well, seasoned, I guess. Seasoned rest, you know?
Season rest. Oh, you pick up very quickly. Pick up very quickly.
Yes,
I
sir.
need my season rest. All right, we out.
Bye.
Peace.